Blayne, how many screenplays have you sold?
Sold. Sold, I would say maybe five?
Okay, that's
Five?
great.
Yeah, so, something like that. I think only two of them have been made, though. You know what I mean? Like, normally I'm hired to write something, and then it gets produced that way, where they have a very specific plan for what's going to happen to it. Yeah, very few. I've got specs that are out there all over the place. You know, they just float around, and I've got this great. I think it's a great script that I really love about rodeo, and I've got this other script about politics, kind of like a Casablanca set in politics, and like they've both been out there, and people love them, and they just kind of float, waiting for lightning to strike and the movie to take off.
Well, how did you sell your first screenplay?
Dumb luck. I think as far as selling goes, I think you would count Manic as a sell because Michael Bacall and I wrote that. We were roommates at the time, and we wrote the script together, and then we went to try to get it made with each of us in the lead roles. Like I had done this cowboy movie that Tommy Lee Jones directed, and I played Matt Damon's little brother, and I was 18. And we were in the middle of West Texas, Alpine, Texas, population like 32. And so Matt Damon had to hang out with me because otherwise I'd just be sitting in my Motel 6 by myself, and he's too nice a guy for that. So I got to pal around with this guy who was, every free moment was working on this script with his buddy, like over the phone. They were exchanging faxes and stuff, and I got to read an early draft of Good Will Hunting, and I'm like, this guy's great. Like, this is what I want to do. I want to write my own stuff, just like Matt's doing. And so I started working on a script, and, my best buddy and I collaborated. And so we finished this movie, and then we wanted to get it made. And we ended up attaching this director, and then IFC came in and I guess bought the script for like $1, something like that. Like, literally, like, here's $1. We now own the script, blah, blah, blah. And, but IFC didn't want me to act in it. They wanted a bigger name. So I agreed to take a smaller part. And they brought in this little-known actor named Joseph Gordon-Levitt to play my part. I mean, if you're going to be replaced by somebody, you really want it to be Joseph Gordon-Levitt. But he did a great job, I think. Anyways, that was the first one, and it was dumb luck. Like, I still don't know how that movie came together. It's like Mike's manager also represented this director who had ties with a distribution deal and pulled the financing together in some way. But that was it. And then we went to Sundance with that movie. So not overnight, but seemingly I went from, guy from commercials and the voice of Peter Pan, who's now a screenwriter at Sundance. And yeah, that was it. And then I went straight from that to like writing for other people and getting hired to do, touch-ups and punch-ups and, make things work.
How many screenplays would you say you've written total, whether they've been sold or whether they're floating out there?
Well, if you don't count the ones I wrote in my childhood, I wrote a really great movie called The Star Team, which is in no way derivative of Star Wars, but it might be a little bit. But like I started writing scripts when I was a kid, and I would, go to shoot them and get about halfway through and lose interest. But as an adult, since Manic, I've probably written, 30, 40, probably 40, something like that.
40.
That sounds right.
Okay.
I mean, there's been months where I've written a script in 15 days because that's what was required in the job, and then I have had scripts that took me 3 years to get through. So always depending on what it is and what the job is.
And most of these came from relationships? I mean, it seems like you knew someone who knew someone, and that's how some...
Yeah, I mean, basically, when we got distribution, we were working with this producer named Stephen LaRue. Stephen LaRue, for Outside Sales. Stephen LaRue knew this producer named Mike Elliott. Mike Elliott Mike Elliott bought a script for me called Teach, and then hired me to write. And that's how it happens actually. Like, I'll do something, or someone will buy something or option something and then say, well, can you fix this script for me? And that's really how it works. So I have like a handful of creatives who have me on speed dial you know, and like I'm happy to jump in and, you know, fix their scripts.
Because we've had a lot of writers ask us, you know, if I'm coming to LA from either overseas or another state, how do I get these contacts?
Yeah.
And it sounds like almost by maybe even the acting world, it sounds like that you've built this creative Rolodex. I know, Rolodex, I'm really dating myself with that word. No one even
I never
knows
would have
what a
thought
Rolodex.
twice. I think
Yeah,
we
okay.
can both date ourselves there. Yeah, I mean, you know, and there's my career is so strange. Like, I am not the archetypal, I'm a writer, I'm with CAA, and CAA gets me the meetings, and I come in and pitch. It's like, that's never really been how my career works on any level, you know? It's like, the lead roles I've gotten in films have been phone calls, you know? They've not been auditions. The auditions are the smaller things that are, you know, peppered into my resume, but like the things that changed where I was in my career were always phone calls, always like, Blayne, I want you to do this thing for you. Blayne, I wrote this part for you, you know? And the same thing with writing. Like the stuff, the best paying jobs, the jobs that have moved me to a higher echelon have always been like, okay, this guy's gonna call you in 5 minutes, he's a good friend of mine, I told him that you're great, don't blow the interview, get the job. And I get the job, you know? It's all who you know, is what they say. But I think in my career, it's more than it is in most people's. I don't know why.
Would you say, though, that a writer should even take, I mean, it sounds like such a traditional route, you know, get an agent, do all, you know, you were talking about antiquated before with distribution and stuff. So it sounds like because you knew a bunch of creative people and you were also acting and doing auditions and all that, that it really helped to form these people that would call you because they knew they could trust you. And that's not an easy thing here. So for someone that's new coming here as a writer, what would you recommend? Because we get a lot of questions like that and we don't always know what to tell them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, like, I've never had any luck with the whole, like, sending a cover letter or, like, you know, here's a pitch of my script. Every agent I've ever gotten has been through a connection, you know? So I think it's about getting into that world in whatever way that you can. If it was an actor, I would be like, take acting classes, you know, join a theater company. I think it's not different with writers. I'm just not sure exactly what that organization is. You know, like there are clubs, there are, you know, the Blacklist has this, you know, website that you can become a member of, send your scripts in, they'll read it and give notes and stuff like that. But like be a writer, you know, tell people you're a writer. Go to places where writers go. You know what I mean? I mean, there are great things. The WGA offers these amazing things. Now, a lot of people can't get in if they're not WGA, but there are things that you can go and buy tickets to and go to places that, you know, successful writers go and meet those people because those are the people that can help you.
Right. Yeah, it's
Film festivals are a good idea too.
Oh, that's a great idea. That's true. Well, I mean, for you, you're an actor and a director, and it sounds like you really get energy from being around people, but I know a lot of writers are more hermit-like.
Yeah.
So that's probably...
I mean, yeah, and I dig that, but like, that's tough because you're not going to make any contacts being hermit-like. You know, it's just like the writing. Like, I want candles and wine before I write, but I also have to get the script done. So like you know, and there are tons of competitions that festivals run, or writing festivals. So you win a couple of those awards, that can get you some nice intros, you know. I have friends that have had some success with that.